Bungie is planning some massive overhauls to the character classes of Destiny, Hunter, Titan, and Warlock. It seems the class fantasy is going even deeper, which is a good thing. The Heavy Metal event returns next week. Bungie fills us in on more future updates involving rewards and the portal, and much more. Welcome Guardians, let's dive right in. So this week's update starts talking about portal and progression updates. I posted in the community tab of my channel yesterday Bungie reverting some changes they mentioned previously about the portal, solo ops, and those reward changes. They say last week while we covered a handful of improvements to scoring and portal rewards, we also announced plans to tune some rewards down in solo ops and pinnacle ops. Based on player feedback, they are reverting those changes and revisiting their approach to balancing progression, as they believe their previous approach was too conservative, and these nerfs would work against our goals of improving progression. To be clear, we believe these changes were the wrong call. We want all activities to the portal, solo, and Fireteam based to feel rewarding. We want our activities to contribute understandable and meaningful progress to your climb in power. As such, the following changes are being made immediately. Planned reductions to power earned for a given grade within solo ops have been reverted. Planned reductions of engrams earned in Encore, Star-Crossed, and Whisper also reverted. And planned change for prime engrams to require decryption in the tower is also reverted. When it comes to Fireteam ops, they say they have some work to do. Here's a list of buffs they're planning on and some new changes that we're adding in response to your feedback. What's already live is this: increased match-made Fireteam op time limits across the board. Expert 25%, Master 50%, and Grandmaster 75%. Giving you sort of incentives to play those Fireteam activities and not be forced to rush through it. You have the time to complete it, you'll still get good rewards. So that's in the game, but here's what they're planning for Ash and Iron. Increasing the number of drops for Liminality, Inverted Spire, and Onslaught Widow's Court. Activity timers have been rebalanced for solo, pinnacle, and Fireteam ops. Fireteam ops has a greater value for speed versus killing all enemies. What's new is the increase the number of drops for many more activities in Fireteam ops. The team is still working on finalizing which specific activities they can buff up, and will share more details after they finish validating that change. Also new is removing unpopular mods like Grappler from the Fireteam matchmaking pool, which is a big one, though this will still be selectable when customizing if you want it there. What about buffs to portal rewards? The following planned changes are focused on increasing rewards or increasing rewards quality. Chance of prime engram drop per completion reward. Activities with more base completion rewards such as Liminality and Inverted Spire will provide more chances for prime engrams to drop. They are also working on creating more consistent power reward experience for the upper power climb. In Ash and Iron, this will be power 500 to 550. Hopefully we get something good out of that, because what's the reason to reach that in max rank? I guess you can get easier tier 5s, but if they're just going to reset it in Renegades, what's the point? The next section is titled More Buffs. Last week's TWID, they provided a ton of information about various changes in the data that drove them. Hidden within were several buffs, small and large, which they wanted to scoop out and highlight more clearly. For Desert Perpetual, weekly challenges are added. Improved gear tier drops and gear attunement also added. Portal time bonus earned will grant 5% minimum score if you make the timer. Your account highest power will be used for reward score rather than equipped power, and Conquest will now be replayable. In the long run, they are still going to be cautious about singular ops category or activities becoming the go-to for power leveling. They want Destiny to be a game where you hop in with friends to level, rather than declining an invite to spend time in solo activity for the sake of progression. In this case, they understand that alternative experiences need to be brought up a bit more to help things feel good, rather than pushing other options down in the short term. And they don't want players who generally just want to play solo or pinnacle ops feeling like they're getting caught by a stray nerf. The current approach is to bring options up and make sure they feel good before they look at the problem children. The hope is to continue to iterate and improve the progression through the power band with these increases to Fireteam ops, the portal, as well as combined with the improvements to the Crucible, and additional raid rewards with the upcoming updates. So I guess that was sort of the intro for the TWID, and here's the actual TWID. It starts with Heavy Metal returning next week. This is a limited time 3v3 PvP mode. Hop into your vehicles and work with your team to destroy your opponents. With this comes new legendary weapons, cosmetics, and an updated event home. A heavier duty emblem for achieving rank 5, a new sword holofoil for hitting rank 10, and a kinetic shotgun holofoil for rank 15. If you didn't earn it last time, you'll also get the Griffin Exotic Sparrow for achieving rank 14 through the duration of this event. This is the Sparrow that has guns attached to it. This event will of course last for 7 days, starting next week at Weekly Reset and going to September 9th. This is the second time Heavy Metal is returning, so it's nice to see some more rewards being added if you completed everything last time. Twitch drops will also be available throughout the entirety of Heavy Metal. Watching a participating streamer on Twitch for 1 hour will get you the Mad Dog emblem. Next up, Bungie gives us a deep dive into class fantasy in Destiny. They say they're going to dive deeper and talk about their upcoming plans for each class. Some of these changes will come in releases during the month of September, others in October, and others still in Destiny Update 9.5 alongside Renegades. Warlocks weaponize the mysteries of the universe to sustain themselves and devastate their foes. The Warlock is the arcane spellcaster of the group. What they lack in strength and speed, they make up for in knowledge and sorcery. They're the best at performing complex magical rituals that persist in the world. Warlock's universal class abilities give access to health recovery and ally empowerment. Moving forward, they plan to do more to reinforce the Warlock identity. In short term, they're working on enabling deeper build crafting and finding ways to give Warlocks more ability uptime. The Empowering Rift change coming in Ash and Iron Update is a part of this. We'd like to give Warlocks more mobile healing options and a passive benefit to match the other classes. Titans do bonus uncharged melee damage, Hunters have higher base movement speed. Here are some of the upcoming Warlock changes they're working on. The following Warlock turrets will now count as grenades for stats and perks: Ionic Sentry, Arc Soul, Hellion, Bleak Watcher, and Child of the Old Gods. For Empowering Rift, the class ability will now generate neutral game ability energy over time. Kills while standing in Empowering Rift will now generate bonus ammo progress, 15% for special, 10% for heavy. Titans are the knight of the group. What they lack in magical ability and range, they make up for in strength and sustainability. They're the tip of the spear, creating cover to establish the front line. The Titan is not a traditional melee or tank class, but they have universal access to damage mitigation and increased melee damage. Going forward, they'd like to get some more artillery expert flavor into the Titan's kit, and give them more opportunities to flex their tactician muscles. In the short term, they're working on some updates to behemoth abilities. Longer term, they'd like to make updates to Ward of Dawn and the Sentinel subclass, among other things. Here are a couple of changes coming to Titans. For Howl of the Storm's stasis aspect will now grant 2 melee charges. They changed the stasis crystal spawn pattern and added 4 more crystals. And for Bastion, the Void aspect will now have faster cooldown in PvE. The update here says PvP, but Bungie corrected it on Twitter. And then we come to Hunters. Hunters are the rogue of the group. What they lack in brute force and sorcery, they make up for in precision and agility. Going forward, Bungie would like to give Hunters more abilities to help them support their Fireteam. In the short term, they're working on giving Gunslinger an update. Longer term, they'd like to address the feedback that Night Stalker relies too much on invisibility, among other things. Here are some of the hunter changes. The On Your Mark solo aspect. Stacks of On Your Mark now give weapon stat instead of weapon handling and reload, max of 40 weapon stat at 10 stacks. They rescaled the stack account to max of 10 stacks. Precision hits now give 1 stack, precision final blows now give 2. And precision final blows at 10 stacks now cure you instead of giving radiant. For Golden Gun Deadshot, the Solar Super. Now refunds ammo on Golden Gun final blows instead of on ignitions. Now extends super duration on Golden Gun final blows. Duration gain diminishes with final blows, grants less in Crucible. And for Marksman Dodge, now reloads all weapons on activation. Now picks up nearby ammo bricks on activation too. Bungie says they all love Destiny's classes equally, despite what members of the community will believe, and they're dedicated to making sure that each class has a chance to shine. They'll continue to balance subclass builds to ensure they don't have any clear win buttons and ensure that each class feels powerful. They're also interested in the future making each class's identity more distinct, potentially through stronger passive effects for each class. However, this adds more complexity to an already complex game, and the player experience comes first. So let us know your feedback in the comments, and of course, tweet Bungie, do whatever you want to do to give them feedback. There's an Edge of Fate art blast on ArtStation that has tons of epic images and videos from the expansion. I actually plan on making a video on this in the coming days, but if you want to check out some sick art, there's a link in the update. Destiny Rising launches today, and in celebration of the launch brought to you by NetEase, they're excited to offer an exclusive emblem for Destiny 2 players. So in Destiny Rising, you complete the Bear the Light quest. Once you complete it, a redemption code will populate on your screen. You can then click the button on screen or use that code on your Bungie account to get the Starboard Forward emblem in Destiny 2. But anyway, Guardians, that's all we got for this week in Destiny for August 28th. Let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comments down below. And if you'd like to see some more Destiny news, lore, and mysteries just like this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.